بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sharif Aly and this is your IRUSA Ramadan Reflection. I'm here to share with you a reflection on the 20th juz of the Qur'an, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shares with us the chapters of Surah Al-Naml, Surah Al-Qasas, and Surah Al-Ankabut, in which He shares with us a common theme, that the times of the history of the prophets and those communities that came before Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and those examples are not meant to just entertain us, but rather for us to learn from their history, their trials and their tribulations, so that we can be prepared for our present and our future, and learn from them. In fact, one of the great examples in this juz is the example of Prophet Musa alayhi wasallam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala contrasts it with another individual that we'll learn later about in our reflection. Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam went through many different ups and downs in his life. First, he was caught in a time when the Pharaoh was committing a genocide against the people of Bani Israel. His mother had a difficult decision of letting go of her son. And he then was in the home of the Pharaoh, where he lived in wealth and opulence. And after that, after committing a murder, killing a man who was oppressing a person of Bani Israel, he was so remorseful and so filled with guilt. He prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he made istighfar and decided to leave Egypt. And when he left Egypt, he went from being a man of wealth and opulence to someone who had to be an indentured servant for years. He found his wife, he became a shepherd, and then eventually he was revealed the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he saw the fire in the desert. This life of humility, where he had been given everything, compared to the lives of those who have wealth, frequently showcases the example that our prophets came for before us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in Surah Al-Qasas a contemporary of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. His name is Qarun, and they speak about him in Surah Al-Qasas and say, "Indeed, Qarun was from the people of Moses, but he treated them in a cruel manner. And we gave him of treasures. The treasures were so heavy that even a band of strong men could not carry them. And the people advised him, and they told him, 'Do not rejoice in your financial success, but Allah does not like those who exult.' And then they also continued to advise him, and they told him, 'But seek through that which Allah has given you success in the hereafter, and do not neglect your share of the world. Be good to others as God has been good to you, and do not strive to perpetrate evil in the land. Indeed, Allah does not like the evildoers.'" The interesting response that Qarun had showcases the level that wealth and opulence and extravagance can impact an individual. Qarun responded, believing that he really was the reason behind all of his wealth, behind all of his sustenance. And he said, "I have been given all of this on account of my knowledge that I possess." Imagine the arrogance of someone who had been given so much, believing that he is the reason for that solely, and there was no one else that impacted his growth and success financially. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala later on in that surah, he says and asks a question. Does he not realize that Allah has destroyed those who came before him, generations of people who were stronger and wealthier? This question is really important for us to reflect upon. Someone like Qarun, who believed that all of his wealth was due to himself and was not grateful for the blessings and the reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him, and didn't feel an obligation to give to those who were less fortunate than him, showcases a real challenge that any of us can be facing ourselves. And we have to contrast it with the life of Musa alayhi salam, who was given opulence, but he walked in this world in a humble manner. He was in servitude to the people. And for us, we should leave with this reflection thinking, how can we follow in the guidance that is presented in Surah Al-Qasas here, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, do not neglect your obligation to the world. Be good to others as God has been good to you, and do not strive to perpetrate evil in this land. Allah does not like the evildoers. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who do good to others, and that we perpetuate good and not evil. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us for any of our shortcomings, to have mercy upon us, and to grant us pardon from the gates of hellfire as we enter in these last 10 days of Ramadan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us His pardon and forgiveness. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم إنك عفو كريم تحب العفو فاعف عنا. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. جزاكم الله خيرا والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.